Hello everyone, a very warm welcome again to all of you for the virtual session of science. I hope you all are maintaining your notebook, children. So let us see what are we having in this session. In this virtual session, we are going to continue with acid, bases and salts, part 5. We had part 4, we have done an experiment on natural indicators. I hope you are writing in the journal, you have completed your journal as per the instruction given in the Zoom session. So here we will continue with the chapter acid, bases and salt, the theory part of it. Let us see what are we learning today. We have learned about the indicators and how indicators will help us to find whether a given solution is acidic, basic or neutral. So here we are going to first see the differences between acid and bases. So write down difference in acid and base, make the table. What is the difference over here? They are just opposite to each other. The acid sour in taste, base bitter in taste. Acid turns blue litmus paper red, whereas base no effect on blue litmus paper. Then acid, if you take red litmus paper, no effect on red litmus paper, whereas base turns red litmus paper blue. So you have to write different points. Do not mix up points here. When you are talking about blue litmus paper, you have to make a point on blue litmus only. If you are making a point on red litmus paper, make a point on red litmus. Please do not mix points, otherwise the sense of the differences doesn't make actually. So make a proper sense of the differences here. Let us see the effect on turmeric paper. Acid no effect on turmeric paper, whereas base turns turmeric paper to red. Acid turns China rose solution to dark pink, whereas base turn China rose solution to green. As you have seen in the previous session where we have learned about China rose indicator and how it is prepared and how the color change happens, you have seen. So please write down the differences between the two and make this table. Then since we are learning about acid, let us see what is acid rain. This is one of the very important concepts in a daily life where you come across with acid rain and how acid rain is formed and how it affects us. Let us see. When the rainwater has increased amounts of acids in it, it is called acid rain. How it is caused? Let us see. The acid rain is formed because of the presence of the air pollutants such as nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide in the air. These pollutants mix with the rainwater and form acids such as nitric acid, sulfuric acid and carbonic acid respectively. The acid rain is severely affect the vegetation, animal life and even buildings of the region where it falls. So what happened where all the pollutants, all the harmful gases which is emitted from the vehicles, from the chimneys of the industries, all the harmful emission goes in the atmosphere. All the harmful gases like nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, they go in the atmosphere, in the air, and when the rain falls, it comes down along with the rainwater. They dissolve in the rainwater and form acids. Like carbon dioxide forms carbonic acid, sulfur dioxide forms sulfuric acid, nitrogen dioxide forms nitric acid. In that way, the initially when you get rain, so you should not get wet in those days when you have initial monsoons, because those have high content of acid in them, all because of the pollutant which we emit, which we add to the atmosphere. So these are our acid rain and it has lots of effect in our day-to-day life. In plants and animals get affected. The pH, or we talk about the acidic medium of the soil increases, it become more acidic and plants get affected, their growth get affected, and you have skin problem when you get wet in such acid rain. And it also corrodes metal statues, statues made up of marble, all that get affected. So the acid rain is really very harmful. Please do write all these in your notebook, children, these points. So this is how the acid rain, as I told you, the movement of pollutants in the atmosphere, the gaseous pollutant in the atmosphere, they come down when you have rainfall. So pollutant in the cloud, water and precipitation, all those particulate pollutants in the atmosphere, they fall along with the rain. So all these get deposited on the vegetation. It affects the trees and the plants. So this is how all the different sources of pollutants which we have: sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, these are the man-made sources. The natural sources, we have nitrogen dioxide emitted to the atmosphere. That is the natural sources from the trees. So this is how these pollutants get added to the atmosphere and come back to us in the form of acid rain. Just have a look at this. Then what is pH scale? Since we are learning about the acid and the base, you should know about the pH scale. We have learned about the indicators, the natural indicators, which will help us to detect the presence of acid and a base. But what if here we need to know the strength of the acids or strength of the base? You have two colorless solution, and the colorless solution, one solution is more acidic or strong acid, and the other acid is a weak acid. How you will come to know? Because the natural indicators, litmus solution, China rose indicator, turmeric and all that will only help us to detect the presence of the acid. It will not tell us the strength of the acid, how strong the acid is. So the pH paper actually help us, which contains universal indicator. These are the mixtures of indicators, and it is a complex structure prepared in the lab. It is synthesized in the lab. And those pH paper is used to determine the strength. Because in a strong acid it will give a different color change, and in a weak acid it will show a different color change. So a scale is developed to find out the magnitude, the strength of the acid and the base. That pH, that is called as the pH scale. You can just compare to your ruler as a scale which is calibrated as 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, like that. So here we have developed a pH scale where just a magnitude which will not have any units, just a number to compare the strength of the acid and the base. How it works, let's see. So the measure of the acidity or basic nature of a substance can be determined by its pH value. So that is, pH value is just a number. The pH value range from 1 to 14. So you can just imagine your ruler, how it is being graduated from 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, like that. It is the scale has a value from 1 to 14, with 1 being the most acidic substance. So a number 1 is given to the most acidic substance when we start from 1. I hope this is very clear. So that 1 will be most acidic and 14 will be the most basic. So as you go towards 1, the acidic nature of the substance will increase. It will become more acidic. And as you move towards 14, it will become more basic. And middle 7 will be a neutral substance. So that will show a different color change, and you can compare with the pH scale, which will show the numbers as well as the color change. That scale is given. I will see that. So the pH value is generally determined by using pH strip or solution. That means pH paper we make, or a solution which we can make, like litmus solution we can make. We can dip the paper with filter paper, and you can dry those papers and you get a litmus paper. Similarly, you can prepare pH paper. So pH paper will contain universal indicators which will not only help to detect the presence of acid or a base, it will also help us to compare the strength of the acid and the base, because it will have values from 1 to 14, and the corresponding color will help us to know the strength, and also the value of the pH will help us to know the strength. So please do write all this in your notebook, children. So this is pH scale showing different colors. You have to draw this in your notebook, show this different color change, and this will actually and show numbering. Here it is shown from 0 to 14. You can take from 0 to 14. Normally, theoretically, you can say 0 to 14, but in the lab you get from 1 to 14. So here in the pH scale you can show from 0 to 14, and see the different color changes. as you can see 7 in the middle, that is neutral, like distilled water, salt solution, sugar solution. It will give you that light green color. But as you move towards 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, the color will change. The color will change from dark green to blue, deep blue, and violet. Deep color you will get on a blue side. Then if you go towards 0 or 1, that is most acidic side, then the color change will be light green 6, yellow, orange, orange is red, red, deep red, thick red, like that color change you will get when you go move towards 0 from 6 onwards. So you can color it, children, with the help of crayon colors or pencil color better, for you to have a better understanding of the pH scale. This is a strip which is available in the lab, and you can easily see the color change with the help of the pH papers. You dip in a given solution, you see the color change, you compare with this scale. Suppose you are taking hydrochloric acid, it will give, and when you put pH paper, it will give a deep red color. So you can see the deep red color over here 1. So you can say it is strongly acidic. If you take a weak acid like acetic acid which you use at home, you will get yellow color, that shows it's a weak acid. And distilled water gives you green color. Sodium hydroxide will give you, it's a strong base, it will give you a deep blue color. So all that you will make, please do make this pH scale. And here they have given examples of all solution which are used, like for distilled water, green, that is 7. Baking soda will show between 8 and 9. Then handmade soap 9 to 10, that color change. Tentatively you can get ammonia 11 to 12, bleach 12 to 13, sodium hydroxide deep blue, that is very strong base. Then when you go towards the acidic side, you see milk, somewhat neutrals, because of lactic acid will get light green color. Black coffee, if we say here, weakly acidic, so you get a yellow color. Then orange color for tomato juice. Then orange juice will show some red color. Lemon juice will show red color. Deep red you will get with gastric acid or hydrochloric acid. So you make this and label everything properly, children. Do color it in your notebook. And very interesting to know the strength of the acid and the base. Any acidic and basic solution, their strength can be determined with this pH scale. It is there in the lab. So acids are never stored in metal container. Why? Give reason you need to understand over here. Please do write one question here. Give reason. Because they are rather stored in glass containers. Why? This is so because acids are generally reactive. They are very reactive in nature. If you keep them in metal containers, they will react with the metals and they will erode them. They are highly corrosive. So glass on the other hand does not react with acids at all. So glass is inert, it is non-reactive with acids. That's why acids always kept in glass container. I hope this is very clear. Please do write one question to concept based. The neutralization reactions is we are learning about acid and the base. What happened in neutralization reaction? Let us see. What is neutralization actually? We are talking about the acid and the base in this chapter. What happened when they come together? Suppose I am adding hydrochloric acid to a base sodium hydroxide. What will happen? Neutralization reaction will happen. Why? Because acid and the base, they have opposite nature. When they are added, they neutralize each other. They neutralize the effect of each other. At a point you will get, when you keep adding acid and a base together, a point will reach where they will neutralize completely each other and you will get a neutral solution. Even if you check with any indicator, it will show no color change. This is neutralization reaction. So let us see. Neutralization is a process or a chemical reaction in which an acidic and basic substance is mixed with each other in order to neutralize the acidic and alkaline nature, as I told you. The product that is formed after the neutralization is called a salt. So always when acid or a base react, it will always give you a salt and water. That if you get a salt and water for any reaction, that is actually neutralization. That means the acidic and the basic solution or the substances will combine to give you salt and water, and the salt will be neutral in nature. That shows neutralization process has takes place. The salt can have basic, acidic or neutral nature, depend upon the strength of the acid. So when you are completely neutralizing the acidic and the basic effect, when you are taking a strong acid and a strong base, the salt form will be always neutral. But if you take a strong acid and a weak base and you combine them, then you will get acidic salt. If you take a weak acid and a strong base, then you will get a basic salt. So usually when you take strong acid and a strong base, normally you get a neutral salt. So it depends upon the type of acid and a base which you are using, but definitely they try and neutralize each other, because the nature of acid and a base is completely opposite to each other. Please take this down, children. So the neutralization process results in the generation of heat. When this happens, the test tube becomes warm and it raises the temperature of the reacting mixture. Now, how are we going to detect that neutralization process had happened? So this is a very simple test which we do with the help of a synthetic indicator, which gives a prominent test with a base. A very prominent pink color appears when it comes in contact with a base. Even with a mild base, with a very weak base, it gives a prominent pink color. So a synthetic indicator often used for testing neutralization reaction, that is phenolphthalein solution. Now initially it is colorless. When an acid is added to phenolphthalein, just write over there, initially it is pink, colorless, but when you add to a base, it will give pink color. So when an acid is added to the phenolphthalein solution, the solution turns colorless, indicating the presence of an acid. That means phenolphthalein is colorless. When you add acid, there will be no change, it will remain colorless. How are you going to check neutralization? Now when you add base, when base is added to phenolphthalein solution, the solution retains its pink color, indicating the presence of a base. So when you keep adding base to a solution of acid and phenolphthalein indicator, you take in a test tube an acid and you add few drops of phenolphthalein, it will remain colorless. But when you drop by drop you keep adding base, what will happen? Neutralization reaction will happen. Neutralization reaction will happen continuously. The solution will remain colorless. It will remain colorless continuously. You keep adding base, but a point is reached when all the base which you are adding to the acid is neutralized, and just one excess drop of the base will give a pink color, because then a base gives a prominent pink color with the phenolphthalein present in the solution. This is how neutralization reaction is detected, because phenolphthalein initially is pink in color, and in acid it will remain pink. You keep adding base, it will neutralize. It will not detect base unless the base becomes in excess, because there is an acid which is neutralizing the base. So when a base becomes in excess, a single drop, it will give a prominent pink color. This is how the detection of the neutralization reaction takes place. And see the neutralization reaction using phenolphthalein. You take acid plus indicator phenolphthalein in a test tube. Then you keep adding base. Continuously, drop by drop, you keep adding base like sodium hydroxide. You take hydrochloric acid in a test tube. Add phenolphthalein indicator 1 to 2 drops. It will remain colorless. Keep adding sodium hydroxide drop by drop. It will remain colorless continuously if you add. And at a point is reached where you will get a prominent pink color that shows that base has become excess and all the bases which you have added initially got neutralized by the acid. So this is a process of neutralization. Just need to have a look at this. So here we need to know about the salt. Since we are doing neutralization, salt is the product formed from the neutralization reaction of acids and bases. Very simple. So when you react acid and a base, you always get salt and water. In the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, the salt form is sodium chloride. Very simple reaction between sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. They are neutralizing each other and forming a neutral salt, sodium chloride. So here you have formation of the salt. Please do write this as also in your notebook. Acid plus base gives water plus salt, H2O plus salt. An example below, HCl plus NaOH gives you H2O plus NaCl. So here you will see water will be formed and sodium chloride, that is a neutral salt, will be formed. This is due to neutralization between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Both are strong in nature. Hydrochloric acid is very strong acid and sodium hydroxide is a very strong base. So they completely neutralize each other to give you salt and water. I hope this is very clear. Please take down all the points and the reaction here. The general reaction as well as the symbolic one, the one below that. So here we come to an end of the session, children. Hope the session was interesting. Please see that you write down all the important points given in the session, and I am very much hopeful you are keeping your notebook updated. Thank you, children, and have a great day.